Hey guys, it's Steve and I'm presenting Axis Carnage issue 1. It's a really highly restricted for the small child. That's pretty brutal kind of things for me. That's a hell of a thing. Axis Carnage 1 review. Let's go to the review along with Hobgoblin. Carnage is the one villain in Axis deemed important enough to receive his own tie-in miniseries, and just like Axis Hobgoblin 1, Carnage 1 picks up after the title or character has been inverted and is trying to live the superhero lifestyle, trying being the operative word as he still hasn't ironed out the finer details. Cletus Cassadi's attempts to reform are one element of this miniseries. The fact that it isn't the core focus is the book's main problem right now. Mind you, it is pretty amusing to see Carnage swing about town and try his dirtiness to be the new Spider-Man. He even has a theme song. Writer Rick Spears makes it clear that inversion is a fairly subtle change. Carnage feels a newfound desire to do good, but he isn't very happy about it. Nor does he understand basic tenets like heroes don't kill, so there's a lot of tension and confusion driving the characters in addition to the slapstick, which is a nice change from his usual role as a remorseless serial killer. That's the problem. We was thinking that what she's gonna do, but Spears often seems at odds with himself about what the focus of the story is. He also introduces a dramatic new take on the Sin Eater. This villain is almost too compelling as he has a tendency to overshadow Carnage for much of this issue. A third player is introduced in the form of ruthless newscaster. This character is far too unlikable and comes across like an unnecessary third wheel. With only their business total, the miniseries really needs a tighter focus than this first chapter offers. German parallels are solid, if not entirely suited to a character as visually dynamic and extreme as Carnage. Cassadi is looking a little penny here, but Pala visualizes the new Sin Eater while bringing a creepy vibe to his many scores. So overall, it's not bad. It's good 7.3 given by IGN. Axis Carnage issue 1. Axis Carnage issue 1 is an entertaining debut issue, but surprisingly unfocused for such a short miniseries. So they're really good at this one. I hope they will enjoy the story, but I haven't written it. That's why I don't have to be a tense kind of thing for reading the stories. Otherwise, you will not do it. I hope. So about the vertex, we have already talked about this, and let's go towards there. There you can find. Okay, so this action will peer into the mind of one of the Marvel Universe's most vicious villains as he becomes its greatest hero. Today, Marvel is proud to present your first look at Axis Carnage 1. So, and in this issue, he is doing a lot of things like Spider-Man, the new limited series spinning out of the highly separated Avengers and X-Men axis from writer Rick Spears and newcomer German Perletta. The symbiote psychopath is back in New York City. So here's a all-over kind of a story for Axis Carnage 1, and we got something bigger review also. Only he has no idea how to be the one as the Red Skull's evil washes over the planet. We need a hero like never before, but change. Okay, so and Carnage is it be there when the Marvel Universe gets a glimpse of its newest protector. So we don't know who is gonna good and who is gonna be bad. So newest protector is always, we have to admit, as a good thing. That is huge. So if this sounds all too familiar, it's because the murderous characters is none other than Sin Eater. So that's it, and it was a pretty much cool issue, and of the ending is also great, like Carnage is taking the girl as a hostage. So thanks for watching, and if you enjoy this comics, just go to the store and buy it and share it, like it. Hey guys, it's Steve. Time for Axis Carnage issue 2. Yeah, this is a quite bit of late. This is Tuesday. It released on last Wednesday, but it's still amazing issue. So hope you guys will enjoy, those of you who still didn't read it yet. So let's go with this amazing artwork, a different style of artwork, but it's totally brutal. I have to say the story is totally brutal for few kids also and for adults also. So here we go for a review. What can Carnage tone down the killing and learn to be a good hero? Probably not. But let's watch him try it anyway, because this issue is having a lots of humor and action also, but action in a separate kind of way. The good things about this one, Axis Carnage issue 1, was really funny watching Carnage, one of the most heartless and violent villains in the Marvel Universe, fight his desire to slaughter innocents and instinct force himself to do right thing, or at least try to, was consistently entertaining and hilarious. But can that same joke still deliver laughs in the second chapter? Thankfully the answer is a very clear yes. Axis Carnage 2 is just as fun as the debut issue and had me cracking up a handful of times. There's so much goofiness to enjoy, and a few gags made me burst into laughter from reworking his origin story, so it's more fitting for a hero to the way he interacts with others. Observing this new Carnage is such a twisted and good time. Two bits that give me especially big laughs where Carnage's handling of a bank robbery, taking a victory lap babe, and the clever handling of the cliffhanger. Carnage as a villain tends to be hit or miss, but Carnage attempting to be a hero, it's such a good time when Rick Spears is writing. Artist German Peretta and colorist Rain Beredo's work is consistently polished and does a fine job balancing the violence and the comedy. When Carnage unleashes against an innocent old man, they make sure it doesn't feel cruel and over the top. It's executed in a way that reminds us this is a comedy and makes it okay to laugh at it. That said, they can more than handle the darker material too. The reveal of Emil Gregg is harsh, and the messed up opening hits you with plenty of the emotion. You can see the craziness in Cletus' eyes before making you laugh. The first close-up of Carnage is haunting too, even though this is a comedy. That one panel reminds you of who he truly is. That said, they also do a terrific job making Carnage appear more likable and even silly in the funniest situations. Having him make a promise while being upside down and having his tongue out was really amusing, especially since it's immediately after such a violent panel. The bad things, when a scene revolves around Carnage, it's great stuff, but if the focus isn't on Carnage, it's just not as engaging or interesting. The plot with this new Scene Eater is slowly unraveling, and it just isn't as gripping or entertaining as the rest of the issue. Obviously, it doesn't need to be all comedy all the time, but the terrific writing with Cletus just makes the rest of the material feel way less interesting and will leave you anxious to return to the psychotic symbiote. As for the plot, you shouldn't really go in expecting anything other than pure fun. The insight into Cletus is cool, but there isn't really anything compelling. The focus is clearly just on keeping readers smiling. Minor grip, he couldn't use a tendril to grab onto the car in the final scene. About Checked Out Nations, they also having a good review for this issue. Axis Carnage issue 2 shows more of crying Carnage trying to be a superhero. Unfortunately, it didn't go as planned like that issue. Like in the last issue of Axis Carnage, Carnage tries to follow a classic superhero trope only to have get out of hand since this is Carnage. Yeah, I have read the last issue also, and I remember that time Carnage is purely superhero kind of thing. He was doing all of good work, but this time he's really showing himself also violent and also doing something terrific, good things. It's a mixture of good and bad things, but the bad things are really violent. That's why sometimes maybe kids don't like it. That's why it's a parental advisory warning. It is having a parental advisory warning. So here we go. The verdict about this one: Axis Carnage is legitimately hilarious and so much fun. Yes, the plot isn't anything special, and the time away from Carnage makes you wish you never left the maniacal symbiote side. But when we are observing Carnage, it's such a good time and full of amazing silliness. So hope you guys have enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and share the video. Don't forget to subscribe if you watch, and what should I say? Adios. No, before that, go to the store, buy the comics. Those who didn't comics yet. Hey guys, Steve and Axis Carnage issue 3. Hope you guys have enjoyed the earlier issues, Axis Carnage issue 1 and issue 2, and it's time for issue 3. Overall, pretty much good going. First, this issue starts with the end from the right after the end from the issue 2. So I'm gonna review today about this one from the pages of Geeked Out Nation, Comic Vine, and Superior Spider Talk. It's written by this guys, Mr. Henningsen, Celeb Hennington, okay, and Great Catsman, and someone from Yan Yoxon. So okay, here we go with the Comic Vine review. Sin Eater has taken Alice Gleason, and there's only one brave hero who can save her Carnage. The good things about this one, Axis Carnage has been an enormous amount of silly fun, and this latest sadly final chapter really shines because of artist German Peralta, colorist Rain Beredo. Not only are there plenty of creative pages and angles, the look into Sin Eater's eyes, the handling of Carnage's thoughts, but this issue is consistently polished and full of energy. The character work is so lively, presenting individuals that are expressive and they rarely appear static. The handling of the effects and environments, be it Sin Eater's glow or Carnage's slithering yet still smooth symbiote, are equally impressive. Even if you're not the biggest fan of the story, it's still a great thing to witness. The bad things about this one, Axis Carnage has been hilarious and a clever way to shine new light on Carnage, so it's understandable to go into the chapter with pretty high expectations. But instead of getting another creative and historical chapter, this conclusion feels pretty standard. It seems like this story would have really benefited from having an extra issue to expand upon the development or build up to it and flesh out the themes a little more. Instead, this last chapter only delivers a laugh or two, and the handling of the conclusion doesn't really leave an impact. So I was thinking about this one after reading this issue, that I wish there should be more. There should be more about this one, because the story is good and the whole storyline improvement was there consistently in the 3 issues. It's never too boring, but sometimes really feels in other issues like etc, etc. Yeah, I'm not gonna tell that once. Those issues have some boring parts, but this Axis Carnage series never had any boring parts. But they decided to end it in the 3 issues and continue Carnage's adventures in the pages of Axis. I don't know why they do it. Anyway, the villain Sin Eater is also rushed in Axis Carnage 3. We get there's a mystery to him, and I like that the writer took time to do a bit of research on the character, but there's no origin on where he came from. Is he some sort of ghost on an amalgamation of the previous Sin Eaters, or some otherworldly being doing God's work? Well, we'll never know since it was never explained, and he gets taken out by the weirdest way ever. Carnage learning 2 lessons about being a superhero in Axis Carnage 3 was both interesting and fun. Interesting because of how he learned those lessons. He doesn't do anything stupid and someone tells him what is right and wrong. Instead of he reaches that conclusion himself. Will he keep those lessons after Axis? Probably not, but you never know with Marvel. At times the lessons are spoofs, and it adds more to comedic tone that this series was going for. The art for Axis Carnage is great. There were a lot of good designs that worked well, like Carnage's kid version of himself and Sin Eater taking a bigger farm. The poses and facial expressions worked, really told the story for me, and thought the colorists did a good job on what Carnage thought and all those scenes in Axis Carnage 3. But what I really liked most, this fighting scene, and it was pretty much really great. So the verdict about this story and this issue is an extremely funny and hugely entertaining limited series comes to an okay conclusion. The visuals are still a blast, and there's a decent laugh or two along the way, but the theme doesn't really resonate, and it feels like a pretty basic way to wrap things up for the story. If you enjoyed the previous 2 chapters, you owe it to yourself to see how this all comes to an end. Also, I hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you like the story and if you like the review, just go to the store and buy this book, and don't forget to leave the like button, hit it, and a comment would be better. Thank you. Adios.